I just tell the truth, and telling the truth is crazy in a world full of lies. If you mix brilliance with bravery, that we can ignite something. Even this conversation alone can ignite the people.
The time is now to express and for people to believe in themselves. The time is now for it to be okay to be great. People in this world shun people for being great, for being a bright color, for standing out. But the time is now to be okay to be the greatest you.
Hey y'all, what's up? It is your girl Kelly. We are back with another video. So I want to start off by saying, if you're new here, guys, I really hope that you will hit that subscribe button if you are into things like true crime stories, politics, news, culture, all of that good stuff. Then I definitely think that you would enjoy the channel, and I hope that you will subscribe. If you're not new and you're returning, then you guys already know I appreciate y'all so very much. It means the world to me that you come on here and you interact with me on my channel. And I just want to say namaste as always. So guys, today we're going to get into a little story about a person named Kai. And I'm sure there's some of you out there that have heard of this story, as it has become kind of a big Netflix show as of late. So have you guys seen this documentary that they aired on Netflix? It's been out, I think, for at least a week, maybe a couple weeks now, and I just saw it the other day, so I wanted to come on here and give my own take on not only that documentary, but what I thought about the story of who actually is Kai, and do I think that Netflix actually did justice to this story. And spoiler alert, no, I don't. I think that they did kind of a for lack of a better term, like a hatchet job. You know, I just think that they did not do justice to this individual and who he was and his story. So I just wanted to come on here and kind of correct the record, if you will, in my own words, and see what you guys thought about it. So the way this is going to work is I'm going to be doing probably a 2-part video on this, because there was a lot of information that I wanted to share with you guys. And so I just didn't want to make this like such a long video. So this first one's going to be basically just like the background story of who Kai was, you know, as a person, how he kind of rose to the level of success and fame that he got to, and then how he was basically exposed to all of these different things that caused him to then do a quick downward spiral in a matter of like months. So he went from basically utter obscurity to like instant internet fame, and then like within a matter of months he was in jail, basically accused of a horrendous crime. So have you guys heard of this story? Have you seen the Netflix documentary, and do you know anything about this? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you don't, then let's get into it right now, and I'm going to tell you guys the background of who is Kai and where did he come from and all of that good stuff. And then of course we'll go over videos and things of that nature. So let me pull up the first thing. All right guys, and I do want to share, so I had already recorded this video, and I got like all kinds of blocks basically from YouTube for using clips from the documentary. I thought that like if I just kept them short enough and, you know, provided commentary, you know, I thought there was this thing called like fair use, but apparently it doesn't exist anymore. So unfortunately, I'm re-recording it now, but I do want to share one snippet from that documentary, because I think it'll be short enough, and I think I can sneak it in here in order to show you guys without getting in trouble. Hopefully, y'all pray for me, okay? So let me pull that first little clip up, it's just like something that he said that I thought was pretty profound in the documentary that I just enjoyed. So let me go ahead and get that for you guys. Okay. Whoops.
What are you planning on doing?
I gotta share my screen with y'all first. Okay.
Now that the attention is on you? Because, I mean, these things do a shelf life. It's going to start to fade away.
A badass mother doesn't come with a shelf life. I don't fit on the shelf. Yeah, I don't finish that time look inside it.
So I just love that, you know, and I thought that was a very good description and just kind of like an overall, you know, picture of who he was as a person. You know, he said he doesn't have a doesn't have a shelf. Sorry, y'all. He doesn't have a shelf life, and he fit into time constraints, and that's basically how he lived his life. You know, he was very much a free individual. He was free spirited, and he didn't value anything other than life itself. You know, he didn't have value in worldly possessions and things like that. And I think that people can learn a lot from him, honestly, as crazy as that sounds. So, okay, let's get into his background. So, we're going to be calling him Kai because that was his chosen name, but that was not his actual birth name. So, Kai was born Caleb Lawrence McGilvery on September 3rd, 1988, and he was born in Canada, Alberta, Canada. So, he had a very rough childhood growing up. He was abused as a child by not only his mother, but he was also sexually abused and molested by people who were around him, you know, family members and people that were around his mother. His mother was in some sort of like cult for a while there, so she was involved into very weird activities, if you will. I don't want to go too far into that, but so she would lock Kai in his bedroom for like hours on end, and it was very, you know, I mean, imagine being a child and having your mom lock you in your bedroom and she won't let you out. So it was very damaging to him from a very early age, especially being the person that he is and the free spirit that he is. So, you know, that caused issues as well as the obvious sexual abuse that he suffered as a child. So he was very much troubled growing up, and he was ready to get out of his family home as soon as he could, which is exactly what he did. So it didn't take long for him to eventually end up moving over to the United States. Obviously, he crossed over the border from Canada illegally, but he moved here and started traveling and just started this life of being pretty much like a nomad and a wanderer. So he got along with, he got along by basically couch surfing, making friends, making connections with people, and just kind of, you know, bartering through life, basically. So he would not really work. He would just kind of do things for other people. He's a very kind and giving type of person. And even though he didn't have anything at all, he would not hesitate to give you the shirt off of his back, or, you know, give you his last $10 that he had. And I think, you know, he just had this way of looking at things like, you know, it'll eventually come back to me. And, you know, karma is the ultimate way of the world for him, I feel. You know, that was the vibe that I got off him. But just a, you know, really cool soul, I feel like. I don't know, I just feel like it would have been really cool to meet him. And he seemed like, even though he had a very different philosophy from me, there were a lot of things that I definitely related to Kai on, and I felt that, you know, he had a very good outlook and a way of looking at life. And, you know, I think it's honorable in a lot of ways to live like that, to not be so focused on, you know, money and getting yourself to that next level, and just mainly focus on nature and, you know, what you can get from getting to know people and, you know, giving your time to people that you really care about. So, okay, so anyway, so after he moved to the United States, he mainly was traveling all along the West Coast, and kind of just making himself a little, you know, name out there, just, like I said, wandering from place to place, making new friends all over, until one day in February, he found himself in Fresno. He had been picked up by a man, and this was the day that would go on to pretty much change his entire life. So he got into the car with a man by the name of Jet McBride, and he was a larger man, you know, older white guy, and everything seemed fine at first, but then Kai started getting this weird sort of vibe off of him, and he started saying peculiar things. So they ended up smoking some weed together, and Kai said that after that happened, this man started pretty much like wigging out on him and telling him all sorts of like oddball things. One of them being, you know, that he had sexually molested a young girl overseas on a business trip. You know, just odd things like that. And if you could get one thing off the documentary, it was that Kai was very much against, you know, any sort of like misconduct when it came to kids, which I think we all are. But you know, when you've been through that, something in you really causes like a very adverse reaction to it. So I think from the moment he told him that, you know, Kai was pretty much done with this man. And so after they had that conversation, he started telling Kai that he was Jesus Christ and he was there to save everyone, and he thought that he was invincible and he wasn't going to get in trouble for anything because he was Jesus. Okay, so now I want to go to the viral video that you may or may not know. I had seen memes of this video, but I had never actually seen the whole thing. So we're going to play this video so he can tell it in his own words what happened next. So let me go ahead and share that with you guys. Okay, here we go.
What's up? I'm one of the heroes.
Yeah. Can we talk? Do you mind?
What do you want to talk about?
What happened today?
Well, went straight out of Dogtown, skateboarding, surfing it up. Before I say anything else, I want to say no matter what you've done, you deserve respect. Even if you make mistakes, you're lovable. And it doesn't matter your looks, skills, your age, your size, or anything, you're worthwhile.
Aww.
No one could ever take that away from you.
Oh my god. I just love that. That's like my favorite part of the video, honestly, because I feel it's so genuine. Like hearing that from him, and the fact that like he just wanted to start off the interview by saying that, I just thought that was so sweet and just heartwarming. Truly, it really is, you know. And I wish people would be more like that towards each other now, you know. I really do. I feel like in that regard, he definitely had the right attitude when it came to how he looked at other people in life. And this was like right after this like horrific event that he's fixing to tell you guys about. So I wanted, like I said, I wanted him to tell you in his own words, because you'll understand why in a second.
Now, this stuff right here, I was driving and I was in the passenger side of this f***er's car, and he comes over on there. He was over by the recycling center. He says, "Oh, when I was in the Virgin Islands, 30 years old on a business trip, I this 14-year-old." I was like, "You what?" He's like, "I raped this 14-year-old." Starts crying, gives me a big hug. He's just like 300-pound guy. I'm like, "Oh shit, you must be f***ed, man. Like, what's he talking about?" I didn't take him seriously at first. Comes driving down this way. He's like, "You know what? I come to realize I'm Jesus Christ and I can do anything I f***ing want to." And watch this, bam! And he smashed into this f***ing guy right there, pinned him in between that f***ing truck. And so I hop out, I look over, the guy's pinned there. I mean, like, freight train riders know this. Like, if you get pinned between something, do not f***ing move that shit, otherwise you bleed out. Like, motherfucker, I ran in, I grabbed the keys, he's f***ing sitting there like nothing even happened. And like, f***ing, like, man, if you started driving...
It is literally him dropping an F-bomb every other word on the like local evening news. I mean, it's that for me. I don't know about you guys, but that's what's doing it for me right now.
That car around again, man, there would have been a hell of a lot of bodies around here. I hop on out, and so I grabbed the bag, I threw it over by that pole right there, and then Buddy gets out, and these two women are trying to help him. He runs up and he grabs one of them, man. Like a guy that big can snap a woman's neck like a pencil stick. So I ran up behind him with a hatchet, smash, smash, smash. Yeah.
The lady said you saved her life.
She was the one who got grabbed by that f***er. You know what? F*** is cool. That guy ain't. Shit.
How'd you get in his car? How did you?
I was hitchhiking. Good thing I was hitchhiking. Yeah, people say don't hitchhike. Well, this is what happens. Yeah, well, at least I was here.
So he did this on purpose?
Dude, that guy was fucking cooked out, man. Like, he's beyond howley. Like, I don't even see any breath in him, you know what I'm saying?
Can I get your name and where you're from, if you don't mind?
I'm Kai.
Kai? Can I get spelling for you, buddy?
Straight out of Dogtown, K-A-I.
K-A-I, do you have a last name?
No, bro, I don't have anything.
Where are you from originally? Are you from Fresno area?
Sophia, West Virginia.
No kidding. How old are you?
I can't call it.
Okay.
Okay, I take it back. That's my favorite part of the video. Just imagine being the interviewer. And this guy, so we'll go on to learn from the documentary that this guy, it was his first day being like an actual reporter. So he had a job with this news station being the sports reporter, right? So he was doing this for a while, and then they ended up being short, I guess, a reporter on that day. So they sent him out onto the field, to report on this accident where this man, this construction worker, had gotten pinned between two cars, obviously deliberately. And so here he is, just happened to be reporting on this scene. And once he learned that Kai had actually come up and saved this woman's life with a hatchet, and apparently he was a homeless guy, he was like, oh no, I gotta get this story. This is it. This is the story. So he ends up just happening to run into him at the scene of the accident, I guess after the police had already questioned him. He runs into this guy, grabs him, gets the interview. This interview goes completely viral. And this was in 2013, guys. So mind you, this was when the internet and that sort of thing was just now kind of it was just getting started, really. So this was in the very early days of the internet. And this was pretty rarely, seen, where somebody would have a clip that would go this viral, where it was being, talked about on all of the television programs. It was being talked about on all the different news stations, local, national, even international. So it got to be a pretty big deal. And so this guy, his first day of reporting, grabs his interview, makes this connection with Kai, and together they make this huge video. And so it's pretty interesting. So the documentary itself was, like I said, it was lackluster for me. I don't feel like they did a good job with the story. And Jessup, who is this reporter right here that's interviewing Kai, was the only person that they included in the documentary that actually knew him and had actual care and love for him. So I feel like everyone else that they chose to feature in the Netflix documentary was just random ass people that were clout chasing. So for instance, it was he was featured on the Jimmy Kimmel show, which we'll go over some of those clips. And it was the booker for Jimmy Kimmel, who had maybe had a brief interaction with him for 1 day or 2 days. And then it was this lady who was trying to give him a reality TV show after this clip went viral. But she ended up not doing it because once people met him, in person, a lot of people could not really understand how to deal with Kai. He was that type of person that kind of just came to the room and would suck up all of the energy. That's the kind of personality and the persona that he had. So oftentimes what would happen is that, people just couldn't hold him. They could not deal with the amount of life he had inside of him. So it was all of these different people. And then they interviewed, of course, the different police officers. One of the officers was oh my God, I might show y'all that clip too. Actually, let me see if I can pull it up. Or I'll pull it up after this video and y'all see. It's one of the officers from this arrest right here, this case where this man was pinned, who probably didn't even really interview him. He was just one of the investigating officers. He was featured in the documentary. None of these people really knew who Kai was. And of course, they actually featured his mom too. But that just proved my point in my mind, because it's he doesn't even talk to his mom at this point. Even to this day right now. He disavowed and disowned his whole family whenever he was a teenager and left home and wanted nothing to do with them because of the trauma and the shit that he had to deal with, living in his family home. So I don't know. I just didn't like the way that they did it. I don't think that it was even worthy of featuring or being they called it the hatchet wielding hitchhiker or whatever. So it was it's supposed to be all about Kai, but to me it was more about what other people thought of Kai instead of who actually he was. So that's why I wanted to come on here and kind of just show you guys a bunch of different clips and show you all who he actually was from his own mouth and from his own interactions with people, and then let you guys be the judge of it, because I think that's the most important thing. And what I came to understand and what I came to know after watching all these different clips of him and doing some more research on his case, which I'll talk about that more in the second part of this the second part of this story. So the second part's going to be basically all about his crime that he was accused of and all of the different conspiracies and things like that that were underlying that whole situation. So that one should be pretty interesting. That one's going to be a little bit of a deep dive. So definitely check that out. But until then, let's finish with what we got going on here. We're going to finish this interview, and then I'll show you guys that cop, okay?
What have you ever experienced anything like today? And what made you take the actions that you did?
That woman was in danger. He just finished what looked like at the time killing somebody, and if I hadn't have done that, he would have killed more people. So he's dead. Good.
You ever experienced anything like that, Kai?
Well, this one time I was in an orchard, and this fucking guy starts beating on this woman who he calls his. So I walked on over and I started smashing him in the head. You see all these teeth marks right here for the camera? Yeah, I started smashing him in the head and in the teeth, busted out all his teeth. Motherfucking the sheriffs, not the policy enforcers, fucking show up and start like they're like, yeah, so what happened? I mean, like, just give me any old name and just give me old fucking birthday, whatever. Just yeah.
What happened today after the? You're obviously free now, but were you arrested? What was the process? What did they do to you when they came out? Obviously, they found out that you did the right thing, but the time that from the accident until now, where have you been?
Well, he started following I. Like, I cleaned his motherfucking head wide open with a hatchet. He stood up like he was pulled right up, right? And like, I'm like, bro, if you're fucking Jesus Christ, I'll be the Antichrist, man. Like, that. And he starts following me off this way, so I figure I'll lure him away from the crowd. So I'm running off this way. I got a hatchet in one hand, this bag I'm carrying over with another hand. I start running off that way. And so a couple of the people who was bystanders to it came over and told me to stop. And I was like, why stop? And they're like, the cops are already on their way. I was like, is he back up and doing anything? And somebody said that he was like masturbating in front of this school.
Oh my God.
Whatever this place is right
Not
here.
masturbating.
Yeah.
Were you questioned by police? Were you taken into custody? What happened? I mean, obviously.
I was questioned. I was put into the back of the sheriff's wagon. Wasn't the policies that fucking pulled I over, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, so like I got put in the back of the sheriff's wagon. The sheriff was like, what happened here? Took down a statement. I told him everything I just told you. And fucking let me on out, said I couldn't grab all this stuff until I had finished, like, they had finished with something, you know what I mean? And like brought me back on over here so I could be in front of this thing, like this car right here. That's fucking gnarly, man. Holy shit. That's like the biggest wave I've ever ridden in my life.
What's next for you, Kai?
Hopefully some surfing. If anybody's watching this somewhere else and they got a mini Mal that they could lend a guy with a wetsuit, I'd love to test out Mavericks.
Would you do it again?
Give this man a
Club him in the head
wetsuit.
with a hatchet? You know, if I could go back in time, I'd go back over to where I was at that recycling center and he said that he had raped that chick over in the Virgin Islands, because it doesn't matter where you at. You can fucking just spend a bunch of money and do whatever the fuck you want, you know, that's not right. If I could go back in time, I would have dabbed him up right there.
Yes. I wish you would have.
No, you're not. I mean, it doesn't seem like you have any concern for yourself. You're all about, I mean, doing the right thing and not even worrying about Kai first.
I don't have any family. Like, as far as anybody I grew up with is concerned, I'm already dead. So, whatever. It's all good.
Oh my God. So what do y'all think so far, guys? About Kai. Let me stop that right there. Yeah, I don't know. I think you can tell a lot from, obviously that's just that is just a snippet of one moment in time. But to me, I could tell a lot more from his own words and the way that his energy was kind of portrayed through his interaction with Jessup in that interview. I don't know. Like I said, I've said this before in the past. I go a lot off of energy and like the vibe that I get from people and from situations and from things like this. Like when it comes to like true crime and any kind of story, I just I try to do my own research, look at both sides of the coin, and whatever feels like right in my gut, whatever I feel is like sits well with me, and my conscience feels like, okay, that's what I think is what actually happened, or I feel like this is a good person. That's kind of what I'll listen to, and that's the philosophy I go by, So I want to get into this next interview. Okay, this was a follow-up. So basically what happened after that whole video went completely viral, everyone was trying to reach out to Kai and get a hold of him. Like I said, there was people that were trying to give him reality shows. There was people that were trying to book him for shows like Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert. People just wanted a piece of him. You know, they could tell that, you know, he was something special, and they wanted to ride that bit of fame that he had attained so quickly, and they basically wanted to use him for that moment. And you see this all the time now, guys. We see, how many times have we seen someone go viral based on like a random thing that they posted on the internet? I mean, one good example I can think of right now is that period, girl. Like, you know, I'm sure y'all know what I'm talking about. Somebody out there does. But this bitch on TikTok literally came up on the, you know, everyone's radar just from sticking her tongue out and singing this stupid ass song on TikTok. So we see this all the time now. And then people like that, you know, once they go viral and they have a little bit of fame and face recognition, then you get the leeches that come out, and they want to get their claws into that person and make them even more famous because they have a moment in time. There's like a window there. So this is exactly what Kai was going through. But the thing with this was, he was homeless, you know, so nobody knew where Kai was. Nobody really could get a hold of him. He wasn't the type of person that was going to be easily obtainable. So Jessa was the only person who had actually had any interaction with him that day. All the other news stations who tried to interview him, he ended up turning them down. He didn't speak with anybody else. So Jessup was the only one. He was it. And he was the only one who got footage of him. He was the only one who got his contact information. So once people started contacting Jessup, trying to get a hold of Kai, he was like, well, you know, I'm gonna do the follow-up interview. I want to bring Kai's story to the forefront. And so that's what this follow-up interview is. This was a little bit more in depth and a little bit more about Jessup kind of trying to tell the story of Kai. And so he was able to track him down. And this is what transpired. Okay, guys. Is this it? Is this the right thing? I think it is. Let me try to fast forward past all of this mumbo jumbo. Here we go.
That vibration, bro. You know, it's being a part of everything. Like when I say I'm from Sophia.
Where are you from originally? Are you from Fresno area?
Sophia, West Virginia. Notice that little punctuation there?
Kai's real name is Caleb Lawrence, but since the age of 14, he's been known as Kai. He was born in Western Canada, not West Virginia.
West Virginia.
In 1988, he's 24 years old.
I was pretty much raised by the TV. I was a latchkey kid, and I was hanging around in the ghettos and places where I grew up when I was only like 7 and 8, wandering around with no support, nobody around to help me out, and there's a lot of bad stuff that happened to me.
And that's why he doesn't expose his personal information accurately often. Much of his past is darker and more gut-wrenching than you can imagine. Stuff that we can't put on air.
I wanted to get out of there. I wanted to run away. And I kept telling people, and people would always take her side, or they'd always take their side, and they'd be like, you got to keep the family together. You got to keep the family together. And I was trapped in there.
Kai is anything but trapped now. The most free spirit you will find. He says he has a high school diploma and even did a year at a university.
Je parle en français aussi, mais je ne parle pas avec l'américaine.
He speaks 3 languages, and his far-out beliefs to most.
All this metal inside the
I gotta say, I just have to say, you Canadians, you know, y'all have a special place in my heart because if you guys don't know, I'm from Louisiana, and there is a connection there with Canada and largely France. You know, there was a lot of people that moved over from France back in the day, back in the heyday, and you know, so they were, and to this day, France is a bilingual country. They still speak French in a lot of the regions there, and of course, the connection with Louisiana is, there was obviously Louisiana used to belong to France until the United States purchased it back in the 1800s. So a lot of people from Canada in the region called Acadia moved, you know, had to migrate from that area when shit started to hit the fan over there And so they all moved down to the region where I live now, which is now called Acadiana. So I just, when I found out that he spoke French, you know, I love you guys. I really do. Canada, y'all aren't half bad, okay? Obviously, the trucker protests, y'all are my people. You know, that was the thing. We loved that. There's a certain prime minister that we don't love so much, you know, a blackface enjoyer, but that's neither here nor there. For the most part, you Canadians, we love you. We love to see it.
Earth is like a car battery.
Have helped him get through the darkest of times.
All these scars are healed, and there's still scars. You know? I don't want to go back to being a certain way. This inner child that I've guarded this whole life is still right here and intact. And I love this inner child very much. I respect this inner child. I value this inner child. And I am the dad that I always wanted. I go out camping all the time. I'm good to people. You know, I don't judge myself for what I do. I ask myself for the reasons behind it. This right here, you know, is still intact. And I get to talk to this little child and be like, you know what? It's not your fault. It wasn't you that is responsible for them getting divorced. It's not you that was responsible for all that molestation. It wasn't you that was responsible for all that. You just had to take the fall. And now that I'm older, I can say that.
That fall has turned into a skyrocket of fame. Something you can bet, though, won't change this home-free guy.
I'm gonna just be Kai any way it goes. Obviously, I was put in this situation for a reason. I would hope, I do hope that people don't become obsessed about this, because there's still so much more that we can do.
Did Kai save lives that Friday in Fresno? I guess we'll never really know. But a guy who in the eyes of society has nothing risked everything to try. And that is why much of the world considers him a hero.
Feel strongly about yourself, because it's just an echo of what's inside of you.
Jessa Breisbeck, KMPH News.
I love it. I love his message so much. I just think, I don't know. What do y'all think, guys? Do y'all have an impression of him so far? You know, do you think it's an act? Do y'all get like a genuine feeling from this person? Let me know in the comments, you know. And if you've seen the documentary, what do you feel like that, you know, this portrays as opposed to what the documentary was trying to portray? Because that's really the goal of this video. I really wanted to highlight that. It's just very unfortunate for me that, you know, I couldn't show you guys more clips from that, but I think I forgot to show y'all the cop video. So let me pull that one up, just so y'all could see like the kind of people that they featured in this stupid thing. And I'm just really mad that they won't let me play any clips from it. But let me pull this up while I'm thinking of it. Here we go. Let me switch screens real quick, and then y'all can see what I saw. Look at this guy. Look at this tool bag. All right. So that's what it's called, the hatchet-wielding hitchhiker, in case you want to watch it on Netflix, just so you can kind of get both perspectives. But just take a look at this guy.
My name is Jeff Stricker.
What? What? I'm sorry. The setup for this scene, okay? This was the kind of thing that just really made me feel like, Netflix, what? All right, what are y'all, who made these decisions? Who thought these were good ideas, you know? So he's going to go on to talk about basically that day the one day that he met Kai. So God only knows why he was featured in this documentary when he was such a small part of the story of Kai. But here he is, you know, ripping off his sunglasses like he's an NCIS. So let's watch it one more time, guys. Let's just see if we can see one more time.
My name is Jeff Stricker. February 2013.
Good God. Get out of my face. Anyways, let me see if I can play one more. I'm literally only playing like 10 seconds of these because YouTube's got me scared. They put me in a concentration, not a concentration camp, a re-education camp already once for, having a thought about an election. But let me see if I can play this one. Okay, this is the other one I wanted to show y'all. Or wait, don't want to show y'all. I might show you both. Oh, who cares? All right, let's go.
I'm inside, and I was kind of shaking and going, I have to play this show now with this knowledge. Hey, come take a picture. And I thought, oh my God, I don't want to be seen with this man.
Okay, so I don't know if you can hear that, but he's describing basically once Kai went to Hollywood, he did his interview with Jimmy Kimmel. He met up with this band. This was another grifter. This was another clout-chasing person who, and he even says it in the documentary. He says as much, that he was trying to basically glom onto Kai's fame and attract some of Kai's fans who were so, excited and amped up for him in that moment. So they invited him to come and play a show with them, knowing that Kai was, very musically inclined and interested in music and things like that. And so apparently he goes on to tell this story about how, Kai had told him all of this, this other stuff about how that crime actually happened that one day where he was riding in the car with Jet McBride, and he, was basically saying that he laced the marijuana, just telling all these, tall tales that, he had no proof of, just repeating, basically, hearsay, if I might say myself. And, I don't know, I just didn't believe him whenever he was saying all this. I felt it was very disingenuous, all of the stories, and so he was kind of just going on to say that he got a bad vibe off of Kai. He thought that he was just, he had done something nefarious that day whenever he was hitchhiking in that man's car, even though he saved a woman's life. And I think it was Netflix setting up the scenes, basically. So, of course, this is all taking place after this man has been accused of a horrific crime. And I'm talking about Kai at this point. So, they're gathering up all these people who never really knew him, never really had any sort of, extended interaction with him, just briefly met him or just basically had one or two interactions with him. And with that, basically first-hand impression what's it called? That initial impression of him, and then also with the knowledge of, okay, well, now he's been accused and convicted of doing this, so it kind of plants a seed in people's heads. If they don't know too much about a person, they only know what they've seen for maybe an interaction of 10 minutes or even, 10 hours, whatever it is. That's not enough time to actually get the feel and get to know a person. So, of course, they're going to have these preconceived thoughts in their head of, well, he did this terrible thing. So, it must have been that I had this bad interaction with him as well. I think, maybe initially I might have thought he was okay, but I think that, something must have happened. I didn't really like the vibe of this person. I didn't really, trust him from the beginning. Yeah, so I think it leads people, and that's what this documentary was. It was very leading and misleading, I might add. So let me rewind it a little bit so you can hear, because he goes on to say that, somebody tried to take a picture of him with Kai. They were somebody in the band was like, hey, go get in the picture with Kai. And this was his reaction. Okay, he says, our drummer's mom, who's a photographer.
Photographer says, hey, get next to Kai, come take a picture. And I thought, oh my God, I don't want to be seen with this man when all...
He said, I don't want to be seen with this man when all this comes out. But, sir, I see you. I see you right there. You're right there. You don't look like you're being held against your will. You don't look uncomfortable in any way. You're making a weird face. I don't know what that's about. I don't know if you're in the process of farting or what, but it doesn't look like you're too uncomfortable. And I just didn't like that he said that. This was the type of thing that, just rubbed me the wrong way. It was very dishonest and clout chasing people who, Netflix came to them. Of course they wouldn't want to be on TV. Of course. Here's my chance. This guy obviously wants to be famous. He's in a band. He's a fucking rock star, bruh. And so, yeah, you felt uncomfortable, you don't want to be seen with this guy, but I see you're right there. I see you. If you didn't really want to take your picture with him, why did you? It's giving me fake. It's giving me fake and phony. I don't like it. I do not like it. So, all right, guys. Enough with that. Let's get into now the Jimmy Kimmel interview, and then I'll show you guys one more video, and then we'll get on out of here. Alrighty. Let me see. Okie dokie. Here we go.
Reporter who conducted this incredible interview, Jessup Risebach. Hello, Jessup. Hey. Now, you are usually the sports reporter.
And so with this, I'm probably going to have to stop this a little bit more than I normally would. I know that like shows like this and networks like this, ABC, they're quick to do a copyright strike. So I'm going to try not to be too annoying with this, but just giving you all forewarning, I am going to be skipping ahead and like pausing it a lot just so I can avoid any sort of copyright issues, because they all came from Netflix. Like the issues I have in my last video, none of them came from the Jimmy Kimmel show, so I'm hoping that we'll be okay, but I'm just going to show y'all still portions of it, and I will link everything, all the full videos in the description down below, if you guys want to go back and check them out.
For the station, right?
Yeah, eight years of sports anchoring and reporter. I've been on a news beat for a couple days a week because we're short a couple people, and look what happens, man.
And why were you out there? Just because you were shorthanded? You had to go out and do this?
Yeah, they trusted me to get the story, and I did my best.
What was going through your head?
He got lucky, honestly, is what it was. He really, truly did. And I feel like if he hadn't have been out there, it might not have even ever happened. Like, even if another reporter had gotten a hold of him, it was something about his connection with Jessup and, like, their little energy, their little bromance that really created the, like, meme magic of that moment. I mean, I truly believe that.
Head when you were interviewing Kai.
To keep him talking, for one, because he was spitting out pure gold, as you can tell.
Right.
And the other was to, get the story, because it was a crazy scene out there. So I wanted to keep him talking, but as well as gather the facts and also stay unharmed, really, because you didn't know what was. Seriously, you didn't know what was going on in his head at that time.
He just explained to you that he hit a guy with a hatchet 3 times.
Exactly.
And at this point, do you just retire?
Okay, guys, so let me go on to the skit, or the little bit that he did with Jimmy Kimmel.
Not on the car, in the car. I don't know if the car can hold your weight, Kyle. All right, there we go.
Don't tell him how to get in the car. He's going to do what he wants.
Keep down the road, man. Keep down the road.
Well, welcome, Kai. Welcome. How are you?
Excellent. How about yourself?
I'm doing good, thank you. You know, a lot of people are calling you a hero because you thwarted that crazy guy, right?
Well, there's not so much difference between him and who they sell as Jesus anyways, is there?
Well, I don't know. I haven't met him. Did he have a beard?
No. No, he's a fat, rich white guy.
Now, you obviously millions of people have seen this video on the...
fat, rich people. No, fat, white people.
Yeah. Yes, I'm just...
See, like, there's another, like, little glimpse. Like, he was very much, like, against, not against rich people, but against, like, valuing, money and like earthly possessions. So I don't want to say like communist. I guess it was more like a socialist type. He would probably be like a Bernie bro, if we're talking about like these days. But yeah, he was just very much about people and not about things. So
sitting next to one. You become very famous now from YouTube, haven't you? I mean, people are recognizing you.
Yep.
What do people say to you when they see you?
They say, "Hey, you're Kai. You're that dude with the hatchet." I'm like, not anymore. They took it from me. I was trying to build this really cool ass treehouse with willow hoods.
They took his hatchet? That's fucked up, y'all. Give this man another hatchet. Okay, please. Let's skip ahead a little bit.
Even things, contractors appear?
Nah, I'm just a badass.
Yes.
You don't like to use the word. They describe you in the video as homeless hitchhiker, but you don't like to use the word homeless.
Home free.
Home free.
The land of the free and the home of the brave.
Yay.
You don't want to have a home, correct?
What the hell are you talking about? I am home.
Aw.
Yeah, I see.
And see, that's so, I don't know. I can't imagine people who actually do live like that. You know, he's not the first person, obviously, to come up with this idea of, like, you know, living off the land and just being, like, nomadic type of person. And I respect the hell out of those type of people because that is a hard life. You know, if I was maybe not a female, like, I would love to do something like that, but it's just, I don't know. It just brings me good feeling inside, you know. I can't even explain it. It's just the words that he speaks and the way that he expresses himself, it just puts off a positive energy, and it really does. I mean, I don't know. I think that not many people are like this anymore. So for us to get a chance to see people like this and hear them speak, you know, it's an honor and it's a treat, because nowadays most people only care about themselves, and they only care about, you know, the money they can get or the power they can get. So this is really something special, and we were seeing it in real time, and a lot of people didn't understand that. They just saw dollar signs when they looked at him. They saw somebody who was crazy and kind of out of control, and who they could use to kind of get something for themselves, basically. Coattail rider, whatever you want to call it. So let me see. And we're almost done with this, and then we'll go on to the next thing.
So anywhere you are is your home. That's your philosophy?
Yeah.
Now today, this afternoon.
Not mine though. You know, like just.
This afternoon, I gave you some money just for the hell of it. And what did you do with that money?
The hell of it.
I'll tell you what he did. He gave the money away immediately to someone on the street.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, the quickest way to devalue a currency is stop believing in it.
Well, I think you did it just to be nice. Isn't that true? I mean, to help people? You gave away your backpack that had all your belongings in it.
Well, no, I feel belonging with people, and, you know, like, the trees are more people and they're still alive.
Is it true that you will sometimes go into stores and take things and then give the things to poor people?
I jack hella from Walmart and Target.
Oh my God, retarded. Oh. I cannot even. This was such a simpler time, guys. Like, again, this was 2013. Like, people were different. Like, I don't know, this was 10 years ago. This is before, like, all the woke stuff. This was before, I mean, oh my God, can we just rewind the time? Oh, goodness, this is a very, very different time, and, I don't know, what do you guys think? Y'all let me know, okay? And so the next and final thing I want to get into, or actually I guess there's two more things, but this one will be quick. This, podcast, we're going to go over more in depth in the second portion of this. Oh wait, actually there was one other thing. But we're going to go over this podcast more in the second portion of my video. But this was kind of how I began to see a different side of Kai, and how I kind of was first introduced with a different perspective, basically. And so I want to kind of go over what these guys were talking about. But I guess I'll leave that for part 2, because we're kind of getting running late here. But this guy wrote a whole book on Kai. He's still in communication with him to this day. So they had a lot of good things to say. So I will go over that next time. And this, I will show you. This was another portion of the Jimmy Kimmel Show where they shot a different bit with him. And they didn't end up airing this part. So I'll see if you guys can tell me why y'all think they didn't air this portion of the Jimmy Kimmel footage that they shot. And this guy was the one that I told y'all about, that was basically the recruiter, like the talent recruiter for Jimmy Kimmel. And an odd thing that someone pointed out to me, I think it was the guys in this podcast that I just showed y'all, was that, like, he was so clueless, and he was so just propped up here by Netflix that it appears that he's reading off of an iPad. Like, what are you reading, sir? You're being interviewed for a Netflix documentary, and it looks like he's reading something. Like, I would love to know what it is.
Come back the next day to do, like, movie reviews.
Yeah, okay, let's watch movies.
The next day, we saw a different side of Kai. He had no possibility of concentrating on anything.
0 Dark 30 is about how we're being told to keep our bodies alkaline.
Oh my God.
And being fed fluoride and
Ooh.
water.
Kai, just watch the movie. I think at some point, like, just watch the trailer.
This is your average everyday NPC right here.
So if they would have chemtrail inside your house with Scopology
Ooh.
and try to get you all to act like zombies so they could slay you all and take your houses,
Okay.
then that would be a good way of doing it.
Oh, facts. Big facts, big facts. Okay, so why do y'all think they didn't air that part? That was weird, huh? What was he saying? He was saying all kind of crazy stuff. Where's his tinfoil hat, right? But I enjoyed it. I myself am a owner of a tinfoil hat, so I like that kind of stuff. I truly do. So why do y'all think they didn't air that portion? What's going on there? I don't know. Y'all let me know in the comments down below about what he said in that little bit. I was trying to find the full extended version of that, but I could not. Very interestingly enough. So, but yeah, he said enough right there that I was like, okay, this guy, he's knowing. He is knowing what is going on. He's mentioning the fluoride in the water. Yeah, okay. Yeah, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, you know, look it up. Look it up, my guy. That's all I can say. So this will be the last thing, guys, that I'll show y'all, and then we'll duck on out of here. And y'all let me know, guys, in the comments, what did y'all think of this video?
I've never seen a beauty like you before. A breathless kiss through the door. You got that shiny light of flight in your eyes. You're the sunset that brings a twilight. Soft orange kisses, fall or misses. You when you leave. Soft orange kisses, well-worn dresses that you weave. I crave you like a red bottle water. You're someone's son and I'll be somebody's daughter. And we both somebody intertwined together. We can be harder. Thanks, brother. Strong love was such a sweet song, but I knew it all along. We were bombing up the wrong world, burning Babylon, girl. Hit it up a bomb and say that I crave you like cool breath on the water. I'm someone's son and you be somebody's daughter, and we both somebody intertwined together. We can be harder, we can be harder. All you'd have to do if you want to. Pull back my hood and kiss me real good. And just move, get a little bit closer and pull back you do. And just move, we'll feel this groove with the loving that we do. We'll feel this groove with the loving that we do.
I just tell the truth and tell it.
So guys, isn't that amazing? Like, I don't know. I loved that so much. That was a song that I think he wrote. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. Don't hold me, okay? But I don't know. Just amazing. You don't expect these sorts of things from people who are living on the street. I think we can all learn a lot from this. And just understand that, you know, we see people every day, you know, especially if you live in big cities, who are wandering the streets. They might have issues with drugs. They might have issues with, like, mental health. They might have family issues. But, you know, I think a lot of times these people are overlooked, and you just never know what kind of soul you're going to run into if you really, truly look at people and don't just look through them. And so, to me, I think that was the message that I got from Kai. And all of these different clips and all of the research that I did, especially researching what he was accused of and really looking further into that, it's not what it appears to be. So let me know, guys, what did y'all think of all of this? What was your impression that you got based on everything that we saw today? And if you go back and watch the documentary, if you've already watched it, let me know what your thoughts were on that as well. And yeah, guys, please like the video if you liked it. Give me, a subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Smash it. Like Kai would say, smash, smash, smash. Okay? Love that. I would truly be honored. So, until next time, guys, y'all stay safe, okay? And I will see y'all on the flip side, okay? Bye.
And the truth is crazy in a world full of lies. If you mix brilliance with bravery, that we can ignite something. Even this conversation alone can ignite the people.
The time is now to express and for people to believe in themselves. The time is now for it to be okay to be great. People in this world shun people for being great, for being a bright color, for standing out. But the time is now to be okay to be the greatest you.